What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Jedi Jive. My name is Mike. Joining us again is my sister Jenny.
Hey, kids.
We got another Mandalorian reaction coming at you. Season 3, episode 3. Excited. Last week was a pretty special episode. They revealed the mythosaur. They kind of teased it pretty obviously ahead of time so that you kind of expected it in a way, but it was still very much like, whoa, didn't expect him to get there.
It had an impact when they got there, and they got there quickly.
Yeah, we were surprised at how quickly we got to that thematically because we were anticipating mythosaur was maybe down the road in the season. So this kind of opens the gates for a lot of different stuff to happen now. We were talking pretty extensively about all of the different possibilities between Din and Bo and Grogu and the Mandalore, what's going to happen now. They made it pretty obvious that Bo-Katan is way better with the Darksaber than anybody else, and that weapon clearly belongs with her. We've seen Grogu in the past in Book of Boba Fett tame a Rancor, so we think that that's foreshadowing. Grogu's going to be the one to tame the mythosaur. It just makes sense. There's a lot of different things that could happen, but it's great to see Din Djarin and Bo-Katan forming a partnership. Yeah. Whether or not that evolves into more of a relationship, it would be cool to see Din and Bo come together and not necessarily be like, there's not a Mandalore, there's like Din and Bo and Grogu, and the whole point of it is to bring everybody together.
There are many different ways to be a Mandalorian.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, it's a nice, pleasant surprise to see that this episode is basically an hour long. We haven't had that in The Mandalorian since the Marshall opening episode of Season 2, which was one of my favorite Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, me too.
So, just the length of the episode alone is exciting to see, and where we are now in the story, it's like, guys, let's just jump in and have some fun. So much could happen. I can't wait to talk about it afterwards, and we'll see you there. Do we think Bo's going to pretend like she didn't see a mythosaur? What mythosaur?
I know. She might be a little bit in denial.
Yeah. She's going to think she hallucinated it.
It was a stressful moment.
Yeah, what'd you put in that pog soup? Yes. Oh. She's gonna pretend like she didn't see it.
I am redeemed.
I witnessed it. You are Mandalorian again. Can we leave now?
Yep. Mm-hmm. She's not mentioning it.
She's not gonna talk about it.
Oh, that was the container the armorer uses.
Her proof. It's her
Can
proof
I ask
that
you
he's
something?
done it.
You see anything down there?
I saw the chasm passing me as I fell.
The bombings from the Purge must have triggered seismic activities.
That's how the mythosaur came out.
Alive.
Alive? Like what?
Nothing.
Yep, okay.
Let's get out of here.
This challenges her entire worldview.
Yeah.
She's going to be in hard denial about this
I don't
as long as she can.
I don't think she's like specifically like lying. I think she trusts her own head right now.
Yeah,
I agree. Know what she said.
I would invite you in for a feast, but I'm guessing that helmet isn't coming off again.
This is the way. We took a hit.
Something's coming up on us fast. It looks like a squadron of TIE interceptors.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
How close are we to Kalevala?
Not far. I need you to back them off.
Oh, nice. We're gonna get a classic. Man the guns! Nice.
Get ready, we're coming in hot.
Interceptors are a lot tougher than TIE fighters.
He's literally just gonna jump out. What? Nice. What a takeoff. I've seen this move before.
Woo!
He did that in season 1, right? Yes.
Boom.
Made it to the N1. Heading to you.
Nice, with the wreckage crashing into the ocean. Oh, dude, they're taking a page out of Top Gun right now.
Thanks for the backup.
2 more to go. One down, 1 more to go.
On it.
I'm gonna hit the brakes and it'll fly right by. Dude, what a move. Come on, that was like the
That's
one
classic.
wing. Oh, dude, that was nasty. All right, Dinjar and Bo-Katan.
Dream
Not bad for
team.
antique.
You take any damage?
Just shields. You?
Not a scratch.
Let's take them in just to be sure.
I'm seeing something on the scope.
Oh, boy. Oh, are they blowing up her castle?
No.
They're bombing her house.
Oh man, that's rough.
Those mudscuffers bombed my home.
There's gonna be more than 3. Yeah,
Oh,
Phone, we've got
Jesus.
company.
That's a lot of ships for an Imperial warlord.
I'm sending jump coordinates.
To where?
Someplace they won't find us.
Okay. All those TIE interceptors. Holy shit. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, look at that. That looks so real.
I appreciate you letting me speak here tonight.
Pershing.
Dr. Pershing.
The amnesty program saved my life, but now the New Republic has given us a second chance.
Oh,
Okay.
Thanks to the groundbreaking work of the Kaminoans, we know that cloning can duplicate an individual from a single genetic strand. What my work explored was the hopes of combining multiple strands to create replicas that incorporated the best genetic attributes of both
That
donors.
sounds scary.
We were talking about eugenics earlier. It's
Yep.
You must be sure to visit the Sky Dome Botanical Gardens. The mysis blossoms are in full bloom, and oh my, are they something to see. And if you have time, the Galactic Museum is wonderful.
This just reminds me of the Johnny Cab from Total Recall. I'm a Johnny Cab.
Museum. Have a good evening.
So we're getting a Dr. Pershing arc?
Amnesty Officer M34.
Amnesty Scientist, L52.
This is G27, M40, G68.
Oh.
Okay.
She's still a bad seed, isn't
Yep,
she?
yep.
Yep.
Everything all right?
Katie O'Brien, is that her name?
Remember her name.
I try not to think about him anymore. Thanks to the rehabilitation program, I can contribute to the New Republic.
This is
Or
like
be a
Werner
spy.
von Braun when like they brought Nazi scientists over to the U.S. Operation, right?
Long live the New Republic.
Yeah, I just think. Yeah,
Long
she's-
live the New
she's-
Republic.
She's just like KGB now, basically. She's just an inside agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't expect that they
This
were gonna
isn't
do a
going
Dr.
anywhere good.
Pershing arc.
I mean, more like the everyday stuff, like the food.
Maybe those yellow travel biscuits from the ration guys.
Oh, I don't think you can get those on the Core Worlds.
No, you can't. Gotta say, though, I like the red ones.
Coruscant is one of only a handful of city planets known as an ecumenopolis. Often referred to as the center of the galaxy, it's not precisely located at our...
This is such a like hotel room, basically. I love it.
Travel biscuits.
I'm trying to sweeten him up.
You're
All
melting.
this-
Oh,
What?
just
It's like a glowing
Glowing space
popsicle.
candy.
Trillion permanent residents.
A
A
trillion?
trillion.
we were close to making some incredible breakthroughs. In the right hands, our discoveries could have helped a lot of people.
There are lots of capable people who want to help.
Putting little seeds
Yeah,
of
she's
doubt
not-
in his mind.
She ain't for real.
Nope.
What is that?
That is the peak of Umate, highest mountain on Coruscant. They say it's the only place on the entire surface where you can see the planet itself.
Strange.
Wow, that's so cool.
Crazy, because the whole thing's covered in city.
It's like 5,000-story buildings, yeah.
For 1 trillion people.
You want to touch it?
Are we allowed to?
Allowed? Live a little, Doc. It's not the Empire.
Don't touch the mountain peak. Tell me some cops are gonna come out and be like, boop, boop, don't touch that. Hands away from the mountain. Yep.
From physical contact with
So,
Umate.
sorry. You knew that was gonna happen, didn't you?
No littering.
No littering.
Let me buy you a photon fizzle. Oh,
A photon fizzle. I love. We talked about this in Andor. Some of like the little everyday details of just like so many little everyday details in there that are so cool.
Are you able to maintain a consistent schedule?
Yes.
Robot social worker.
Have you experienced any feelings of anger or resentment towards the New Republic government or its representatives?
No. If I were to pursue my own research recreationally, would that be allowed?
That class of research is expressly prohibited by the Coruscant Accords, Section 13, Subparagraph 7. Thank you for continuing to be an important part of the amnesty program. Have a nice day.
Okay, so he's going to be helping Moff Gideon unwittingly, thinking that he's helping the Republic.
Yeah.
If they found out, we'd both be sent back to the Reintegration Institute.
I've done a lot of things I'm ashamed of. I have a lot to make up for. But if your research really is as important as you say, I'll take that risk.
Yeah, it's all butter. It's all butter. That's why he was a scientist and she was an officer. This like style reminds me so much more of like the Andor.
The public housing that the mother lived in.
Yeah. Just like daily life on Coruscant.
Experienced any feelings of anger or resentment towards your coworkers?
No.
Same question.
Continuing to be
Our main objective is to help the Republic, right?
correct.
And that supersedes everything else?
It does.
Not as smart as you look, Dr. Pershing.
It's gonna be fine. Remember why we're doing this.
You're better at this than I am.
Oh, you'll get the hang of it.
Cinematically, this has the feel of like a spy thriller type.
Well, all of the Coruscant views are awesome.
Yeah.
We're seeing even more of Coruscant now than we've seen in Andor.
Tickets, please.
Follow me.
Nice, Doc.
Thank you.
Tongs days, am I right?
We'll work on that.
How about them dolphins?
Elia Kane, communications officer.
She has a name. Okay.
Dr. Penn Pershing.
Penn.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Pershing. Is everything you need here?
This is perfect.
52, raise your hands. You are under arrest.
Oh, shit.
Raise your hands, L52.
That was like a sting?
Yeah, but I still don't believe
I
that-
still don't trust her.
Yeah.
Wait.
Not just because she was part of the sting, but like,
Yeah, but like,
because
why,
she was.
why do they trust her so much is what I want to know.
Yeah.
Good morning, Doctor.
Listen, I can explain. I wasn't trying.
No need. Amnesty Officer G68 has already submitted a report.
What? What did she tell you?
We understand that the adjustment can be difficult.
No. I think there's been a mistake.
But we're here to help you.
Wait, this is a mind flayer.
This is
Fucking
sinister.
lobotomize him.
It's a non-invasive experimental treatment recently approved for rehabilitation.
No, it's a mind flayer.
We found at low voltages it can be used to help soothe select traumatic memories.
Bro, electroshock therapy is
Some
basically
pleasant
what
colors, hear a light buzzing, and experience a great sense of relief in no time at all.
You're gonna wipe my mind.
Absolutely not. This device is used to heal. I've been through the treatment myself, in fact, and I found the experience quite refreshing.
You don't understand. She brought me there. It was a trap. She set me up. Please. You set me up.
You've done the right thing.
Thanks.
You are a real credit to this program. It's nice to know that for every failure, there's a success. Like
They
you.
would know she was Moff Gideon's like right-hand person.
Yeah.
Why would they give her?
They should offer him some relief.
That just seems like a tremendous oversight.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stay.
I don't trust anything about this situation.
None. Oh, she's gonna turn up the voltage. Dude,
just left her alone with the machine?
Okay, like what? Yellow biscuit.
My
Yikes.
God, sinister.
That's pretty scary.
I'm bringing you to a Mandalorian covert. This is how we have survived in exile.
I'm familiar.
Oh, Armorer and Bo-Katan.
Yep.
About to have a cat fight.
It will go smoother if you keep your helmet on. Trust me.
You were an apostate, Din Djarin.
No longer. I have been to the mines of Mandalore.
The mines were collapsed in the Purge. The planet is cursed.
He speaks the truth. I was witness. I am Bo-Katan of Clan Kryze.
Your house has fallen from the way. You were both apostates.
We have
took a
been to
bath,
the living
too.
waters.
Took a vial of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got it.
I bring proof.
Din Djarin claims to have bathed in the living waters.
I have proof.
Yes.
Wow.
He speaks the truth.
Let's go.
Din Djarin, you are redeemed. This is the way.
This is the way.
His helmet off it.
And Bo-Katan Kryze, by creed, you too are redeemed.
But I do not walk the way.
Did you bathe in the waters?
I did.
And have you removed your helmet since?
No.
Then you may join our covert and live as your ancestors once did.
Huh.
You may leave anytime you wish.
She is currently homeless.
You are one of us.
Right.
Welcome, Bo-Katan of Clan Kryze.
Sweet. All right. I don't know. I kind of like that.
Interesting.
She's part of the covert. Interesting. It's family.
Yeah, and she lost all her people.
Yeah.
And lost her home.
She's
and
finding belonging.
she doesn't know
Okay,
what
well
to make
that's
of it.
good. That's the first step in like bringing different types of Mandalorians together. Gotta digest a little bit before I make like an immediate reaction, but I think most people probably agree right off the bat where it's like an hour-long episode. The last thing you're expecting is Dr. Pershing gets an hour.
Yeah.
Where we're like the first episode, we're like, man, wish it was longer. And there's all this sort of like pacing and timing, and like that's interesting to do that. And this third episode is an hour long. It's like the longest episode of The Mandalorian, and it's like 90% Dr. Pershing.
Yeah.
And Elia Kale was
Elia
her name? Elia Kane.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel yet. I don't know how I feel because it was very like that was a lot of time spent on something that was not even anticipated at all.
I think I don't know how I feel is accurate for me as well. I'm flummoxed by this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, there was a lot of the stuff I love, which is the richness of everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing that
All
in the
of
Star
that.
Wars universe.
All
like,
of the Coruscant
what is
stuff.
it like to take a subway on Coruscant?
Yeah.
Like, you know, what are they having to drink? Like, little details.
We pointed
like
this
that.
out about Andor.
Andor was rich in that.
Yeah,
Andor
I liked
was a
that.
feast of that kind of
This
thing.
episode had that Andor vibe, not just because of the presence on Coruscant, but because of that. Like,
because
we're
of that
seeing
detail
everyday,
of
mundane
everyday
things.
life. So I really appreciate that. Every time I see it, love that.
The little popsicles
But
they
I'm
were eating.
flummoxed by
and
this whole Elia Kane storyline. I don't trust her. Obviously, she was a double agent in this episode, but I believe she's still a triple agent.
She's a triple agent.
Yeah, I think she's still working for Moff Gideon. So I don't understand what her motivation is in torturing and mind flaying.
Yeah,
Dr.
that didn't make sense to
Pershing.
me, because the first thing that made no sense to me is how the New Republic would have such blatant oversight to let Moff Gideon's right-hand person, basically. They would have to know
so much authority, have so
how
much
close she was to
control.
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. Or
to
why
give her
would-
a special mission
Why would
like
they
that.
trust her regardless, even regardless of her association with Moff Gideon?
Yeah.
Why would they trust one amnesty program member more than another? Why would they trust
They'd
her
have the
more
least
than
reason
him?
to trust her, considering
Yeah,
her
I
association.
don't understand that
That
either.
makes no sense to me. Maybe there's more to the story there. Obviously, it was a twist for her to be that type of double agent in that situation like that, so that was already kind of expected. But yeah, it's like if Moff Gideon was still interested in doing the cloning stuff and wanting Dr. Pershing for that, then she wouldn't want to mind flay him and erase all of that info. She'd want to...
So I'm still sort of flummoxed because I don't trust her. I'm flummoxed by
Like,
what
mind
the
flaying
end
him
game is
would
there.
help the New Republic.
And I'm also kind of flummoxed by, as you said, that we had 90% Dr. Pershing this episode. I wasn't expecting that for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit like
I would have been
lost about this
entirely
episode.
like not questioning it and kind of like indifferent or like unsure about how I felt if it was like maybe 15-20 minutes spent on that storyline.
Right.
But the fact that the majority of that episode was very like, they're putting a lot of time into this, to the point where I'm like, they're gonna have to pick this back up again in a later episode.
Right.
So that's gonna be even more time spent on this, and there aren't that many episodes in the season.
Right.
So it's like I'm prepared to sit here and let them be like, okay, this is all coming together. Moff Gideon is obviously still
Somewhere
alive
in
and
the
is gonna
works,
play a
yeah.
part in this. Like we're saying, she's a triple agent. It makes sense that like she's still loyal to the Empire and Moff Gideon, and like.
Yeah, I'm
but
just not
also,
sure I want that much time devoted to this storyline because, as you say, it has to come.
There were
back into
individual
play
little
now,
moments though where I was questioning even whether, like, I didn't know whether maybe they were leaving room for her to evolve, and because she's telling a lie and being like, I realized the error of my ways, and I've done a lot of shitty things or whatever, and that's a lie, but it's also like, is there going to be something in that at the end? Like, is she gonna evolve, or is she just gonna be bad guy? I don't know. It seemed very confusing that they would spend
It's just
that much time.
considering that there's going to be, obviously, like you say, future content relating to the storyline.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of airtime kind of squandered on these secondary
Yeah,
characters.
and then like when you consider they bookended it with little Bo-Katan, Din Djarin elements that were like 5 minutes each.
Yeah.
Not even. And that stuff was juicy too, though. The dogfight in the beginning with Din Djarin and Bo-Katan and the TIE interceptors. That was a cool like Top Gun.
Yep.
Like I was saying, this is definitely they're taking a page out of Top Gun here. And anytime you have a ship that's like turning on its side and like flying through a ravine, like just over water, it's a classic Star Wars dogfighting type of scene, which is always fun. And then obviously
they created this sort of noir thriller spy movie genre type storyline with Pershing and Kane.
Yeah.
It really had that feel of like a noir detective
I
type movie.
liked the concept of the whole the amnesty program, and the whole, it goes into depth a little bit and shows you a little bit more in terms of like, well, there's all these millions of employees of the Empire that aren't like fundamentally evil people just doing their job, like, and it's that's very real world realistic to have that, like.
Well, I was mentioning that there was this thing in the 40s and 50s, Operation Paperclip, where they brought Nazi scientists, who got a pardon basically, and were brought, like Werner von Braun was the head of the rocket program, and we wouldn't have gotten to the moon without him.
Yep.
But or we wouldn't have won the space. We would have eventually, but we wouldn't have won the space race without him. but they were really given a pass and brought to the United States to work on things like the rocket program. So it reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah.
Except that in this case, he's got this kind of immigrant story of his talents being wasted while he works in like data archival.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is sort of not up to what he's used to in terms of his skill level. There was something very sinister also about the amnesty program, that they're putting people in this like lobotomy, this like electric lobotomy.
Not just that though, but like the droid social worker that was like droning on with those repetitive questions over and over again, where it's like he's gonna start hating the Republic if you keep putting him in the social worker's office being all like, do you have any feelings of aggression, resentment?
It's like, yeah, towards you!
Yeah. So it's like, wow, you could almost see, like, Dr. Pershing now, I don't know, we'll see what happens. She was mind-flaying him or whatever. Like I said, it was funny because I mentioned Total Recall earlier in the episode. I was like, that reminds me of Johnny Cab, the way the annoying taxi cab driver
right.
is. Same thing as, and then that
check
lobotomy
out the
device
gardens at the holographic museum.
Exactly like the lobotomy device they use in Total Recall. So there was like, and there's also like space subways on Mars in Total Recall too, so I felt like a very Total Recall vibe in that, and it's also about spies. Yeah. So this to me was a very like Total Recall episode, and I liked that. And I don't want to be like this was like weird and boring, and I didn't like it because it was just more unexpected, than something that I didn't enjoy. It was just sort of like this is not at all what I
thought. Yeah.
And I did enjoy we were mentioning the Mundane Coruscant everyday life. This was definitely the most Coruscant we've ever seen, even more than Andor, which there were a few episodes of that were like,
in Andor.
All of the Mon Mothma stuff though, like Luthen's antiquity shop and her high-rise apartment and all of that, like when they got in the cab, all of those fun things. Like you said, the stepmother or the mother's Section 8 housing or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
This was like Dr. Pershing's like apartment just reminded me very much of just sort of like a
sterile
hotel room.
Yeah.
And I like all of that. I like the everyday Coruscant. Like, we're telling a story, this is the Mandalorian, but we're also simultaneously like existing in the Star Wars universe and like feeling like you're there. There were a lot of little things that were like, that's so cool. Like I don't remember what the word was, but there was that voice that was like educating about what Coruscant is anytime a planet is completely covered in a city, it's called
an ecumenopolis.
Ecumenopolis.
Yes.
I was like, that's a cool word. Like, I hadn't heard that before, but now that's a cool term for the Star Wars universe that's very,
there was that lovely detail where there's the peak
mountain
of the
peak.
tallest mountain. Yeah, it's
cool.
like 10 feet tall. It's like tiny, but it's because everything else is underneath the infrastructure of this endless city.
Which is so funny because if you think of like the metaphor of like, men climbing and conquering mountains, the peak of Mount Everest, and it's literally like it's on the ground.
Yeah.
Like there's these towering skyscrapers all around that go above the highest peak.
We learned this detail that 1 trillion people apparently live on Coruscant.
Yes,
which is
exactly.
Inconceivable.
You can conceive of that before or think, but it's like now you have like an actual number. Like she just mentioned that there's 1 trillion people on Coruscant. Like that might be new canon. I mean, it might not be, but I do like being able to go to Coruscant, do the daily stuff, see the boring stuff. All of that is great. It was just in terms of the context, like, wait, this is the Mandalorian. We just saw a mythosaur at the end of the last episode.
Yeah, and now we're just spending all this time with Dr. Pershing being sad.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Incongruent, where it was like, wait, why are we here when we were just there?
I agree.
So I've got to leave room for it to breathe. A couple episodes down the line, a lot of this might have a little bit more sort of, okay, I see how all of this is together. Particularly the Moff Gideon thing. And then, because originally it's Yoda. It's Grogu that they're interested in. Moff Gideon was using Pershing to clone
Grogu.
Potentially Force usage. Or to, like, steal his healing powers or whatever. So we're expecting that to come back at some point. Like, if she is Elia Kane is her name. Yeah, if she really is like a triple agent and is like still working for the Empire and Moff Gideon, then they're still presumably trying to steal Force powers or to steal Grogu.
One detail, not on the Dr. Pershing storyline, but on the Bo-Katan Din Djarin storyline. As you predicted, she did not say a word about that myth She didn't outright deny it, but she chose not to mention it, and so far she's the only one who saw it down there. Din Djarin has.
Yeah, well, that point. I guess that obviously puts her on track to like why she's okay with leaving her helmet on and going with what Din is saying and like joining this Mandalorian clan that she thought were a bunch of zealot weirdos.
Yeah,
yesterday.
She's questioning herself and her own beliefs.
But
right
yeah,
now.
exactly. So like, it gives her the opportunity to evolve like that, and you know, in the same way that like, oh, like you don't know whether this Elia Kane, like where she really stands, or like what's gonna happen with Dr. Pershing, or like everybody's sort of changing and in a process of evolving. That like maybe Bo-Katan's gonna become a helmet wearer now. Maybe she's gonna be like this is the way part, and Din Djarin's gonna be the one that's gonna be like, yo, like relax.
What happened to you?
Yeah, like take the helmet off. Yeah, exactly. So
Like,
for all you know, Bo-Katan might be becoming the biggest zealot of them all.
It
You know,
could
she
happen.
saw the mythosaur. She saw it.
Yeah,
So I mean, she
it's
might
real.
actually become the biggest believer that there is. You know, that goes hand in hand with maybe she will be the next Mandalore. She has, you know, she has the skills. Now she has the mindset too, perhaps. Right?
Yeah.
So hey, guys, not the episode we were expecting for sure. It's strange that the longest episode of Mandalorian to date is a Dr. Pershing episode.
Yeah.
But it has potential. It has potential to do a lot of things, and I'm admittedly a lot more excited by the Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, Grogu, Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah.
That's what excites me. Like, I was super excited for this episode. I thought we were gonna get, you know, more mythosaur, what's gonna happen with all of that, but now we've just initiated yet another pocket of storytelling that is gonna need to exist independently and coexist with the other storylines. So, not enough information yet to know where this is going or what's happening.
It's funny because when we saw Andor, there were these 3-episode story arcs that
Yeah.
were very self-contained.
Yeah.
And in this set of 3 episodes, it feels like we've initiated different arcs in each one.
Yeah.
They're going to come back down the line. We had sort of like a little Tatooine action. We had Mandalore, and now we have this Coruscant Dr. Pershing storyline. It seems like they've set like different angles in motion.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, Bad Batch right now, the cloning concept is actually like a heavy part of the storyline too. So like they're really going in on the Camino and cloning and how it relates to the Empire and all that stuff in both shows now. So they're leaning into that. Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, guys, this is, like I said, reiterating it again, not what we were expecting. So it's kind of hard to know how to feel right now. It's still processing, and it's hopefully next week some of this we'll understand how it all fits together and why they chose to do an hour on this in particular.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would put this much time into it if it wasn't going to be significant. When you think of the season as a whole.
Yeah.
You never really know until you finish the season and you look back at it and you see how everything fits together.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, love The Mandalorian, love all of it, loved being on Coruscant and seeing some of those fun details. It's definitely getting another one of those episodes, like in that scene where they were at the mountain peak and, you know, they were eating the popsicles and there's like guys doing magic tricks. You know, there's tons of little Easter eggs you can go in there and like read the Arabesh text and like you can find like anytime you're on Coruscant like that. I just love all of it. And it looks great. The CG artists they're really making it look good. There was a couple shots there where I was like, that just looks like a city. It looks real. So yeah, guys, let us know what you thought about the episode in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Fully unedited reactions are on patreon.com/JediJive. Go check it out. We'll see you in the next reaction.
Peace.